If your New Year's resolution was to read more or to eat better, then this might be the book for you. Dr. Brooke here, Cook with Dr. Brooke, if you want to learn more about the connection between nutrition and mental health outcomes. My really quick summary is going to go over something that I liked, something that I learned, and then something that I might have wanted to see different or wanted to know more about after reading this book. I like that it is educating folks on why it's important to take care of our gut and our gut microbiome and how that can impact our brains and our mood overall. I liked that he cited a lot of different studies and was really trying to stay very objective and truthful and not make any like wild claims or sensationalize things. He really tried to keep it like scientific. There were some interesting like people that he featured in the book too, to keep it more interesting and more kind of like tangible. Something that I did learn, and I was a little embarrassed that I didn't already know this, which is that your gut flora, the bacteria and the little bugs and creatures living in your gut, is kind of already predetermined when you're an adult. It's very difficult to change the species that are in your gut when you're an adult. And he talks a lot in here about how a lot of that is really fixed by the age of like 3 years old. So once we're adults, we don't really have that much control over like what different species live in our gut. Fortunately, when we do change things like our diets, like our activity level, when we take antibiotics or when we get off of antibiotics or take probiotics, we can change the metabolites that our gut produces. So he likens this to being an orchestra. If the species in your gut are like an orchestra, the different players are already pretty fixed. You're going to have a certain number of violinists and cellists and clarinetists. By the time you're an adult, you can't really like add a piccolo. It's, you're pretty fixed, but you can give them different music to play. The music being the metabolites from the bacteria. And so we can influence the metabolites that our microbiome makes, and that itself can have an impact on our mental health. One thing that I would have done differently or liked to see differently as I was reading the book was citing the studies like in the books. The bibliography at the back, and it includes at least dozens, if not hundreds of studies that he read and cites and references throughout the book. A lot of times he'll just say, a recent study found this, or research have been investigating that. And as somebody who wants to dive deeper and learn more, I wish that there were like footnotes or that this was numbered so that I could go look up that specific study. I'm sure his editor and his publisher like talked about where all of these sources were going to go, if it was going to be in the body of the book or in the back. But as somebody who is pretty curious about all this research, I wish that it was like integrated easier so that I could follow up on it more myself. But overall, I really like this book. I would recommend it to anybody, whether you're new to learning about diet and mental health correlations, whether you're more advanced. Like I said, I'm pretty interested in this topic, and I learned new things while I was reading it too. So highly recommend The Mind-Gut Connection by Dr. Emeran Mayer.